Welcome, welcome, welcome in. Homeless. Definitely get in the house. Get in. Get in. Yes. All right, all right, all right, all right. I'm glad you guys are here. I know I need to stop doing. I'm not trying to be Matthew McConaughey, but it reminds me of a movie, Dazed and Confused, and just Matthew McConaughey with his all right, all right, all right. Not trying to do that, but thank you guys for coming in and being here and just participating. Much appreciation, much love, much genuineness. I hope some of the videos tie some things together for you, that you'll even see that you may be participating in the matrimony of the feminine, of the logical and the intuitive minds within you. That's why they're left and right hemispheres and they come together. The center, we always talk about being centered. Think of when these two come into correlation, collaboration together now, higher states goes down the middle. That's why staying centered is a power that we have, like being neutral. I even asked, look at even in your car when you're driving, how many times do you use neutral? You're like, really? Not much. Never. Some folks might say never. I'll tell you a time you use it when you're coasting, especially when you had a stick, not so much with standards. We would in the day just kind of put it out of gear and let it going downhill, let it go. But here's another thing that we used to do. Where's the other place that everybody, standard stick or whatever, where you put your car in neutrals when you go get a cleansing. When you go to an inner car wash where you have to put your car in neutral and let it go on the conveyor belt for your car to get clean through a processing of right. If you go to one of those places, that's the time you need neutral. So think about it. When you need your car, your vehicle, your karma, your cleaning is connected to neutral. When you stay out of right and left brain judgments is when you get yourself into balance, which is neutral. This is where your greatest power is because you're out of judgment. Left and right's judgment. That's why the political game, which is polls, should be centered, but there's no third party. Even what do we need a party for? What the hell? This is a birthday party? A marriage party? Man, come on. Tired of the game. We see through it. But anyways, so it's polls. Politics is meaning polism. What's the poll? Keeping you left or right. If it was true in its essence, there would be a third party, which would be a type of balance party in between those, the left and the right. When they go severely side to side, that's when it's imbalanced. This is also us. When we're into right or left logical thinking and we don't budge from that, what happens? We come imbalanced. So when we see the alchemical marriage of the left and right brain hemisphere connecting, firing off on each other, connecting their energies, harmonizing, integrating with each other like this is like the feminine and masculine having a marriage. And what happens when they become one, right? Because we talk about they become one, the couple. What becomes one? You have an integration of your logical mind now, which now is open to the intuitive mind, which operates very much from a different source, not logical. It doesn't always need proof or show you proof first. You know that you know that you know. But actually raises even logical or higher reasoning of the logical mind to go higher. Why? Because now logical is connected, integrated with the intuitive and gets some of the intuitive to it because they're connected as one. And now it is allowed to have higher reasoning. Now it can reason from higher places as you go up. All right, we got another good one today. So we had a marriage in the last one. We had the intellect marrying the two became one. The intellect marrying the intuitive. Left and right brain hemisphere come into a connection. They're firing off. Their electrical impulses are going. They're integrated with each other. One more time, integrated. They're not opposing each other. They're working together, actually making a whole of both sides instead of opposites. They're no longer repelling. They've became attracted and now harmonized, integrated. So what else could you add to what would happen in the integration of these two? Well, just like us as humans, what happens when we get married and we become one with our significant, our wife, or our husband, or the other, right? What happens? We usually produce something. We usually produce seed and we produce an egg, and then another one of us, integrated from both of us, comes out. And what's that other one? We talking about a trinity, or are we talking about mom, pop, and a child? The mother and child reunion, right? We're talking about coming together as the two become one, but then another one comes out of the one. And we call it usually a baby, a child, or whatever, right? A children, feminine, masculine, whatever. Another individual that is even coded with both of the DNAs of both sides of the mama and papa equally. Let's go. We got another good one for you today. Let me go back and stop. I did something wrong here. I know what I did wrong. It's not, here we go. Did something wrong, yeah. Here we go. We're definitely going to get into this today. So I kind of didn't like, what if the alchemical connection created a child? What would it be? So as we look at matrimony, the marriage of the created by intellect merges to the intuition, now produces a child likened to blues, R&B. I'm talking about blues, R&B. That's another story. That's something I even get on a little soapbox when you talk about musical. R&B, I'm not about rhythm and blues. Having a child, blues had a child, and they named the child rock and roll. It produces a great child, but our matrimony of the intellect and the intuition created a great child, and that great child is now, your discernment becomes activated because of this process within you. Your discernment becomes activated. You have a child now that was produced by these two spaces coming together, the left and the right brain, the intellect and the intuition coming together, becoming one and integrated, becoming one with each other, no longer opposing problem with each other, no longer in warfare. They became one. Now they created a child. This is a great child. This is a great child, and I'm going to call this child, it's called activating your discernment. Come on now. Your ability to have a higher range of frequency and discernment has been activated. Hear what I'm saying? It has been activated. One more time. Activated. Now, since this comes from an integrated unity of intellect and intuition, this his or hers discernment now is knowledge, direction, and protection. Yes, it leads you out of things, situations, and avoiding dangers, right? It will direct you and avoiding dangers, meaning the discernment on things will allow you to take different paths. Of your discernment gets so keen in this higher level. This is what discernment does. Pretend this is the 3D level, right? This way. The 3D level. Your discernment comes really keen on the 3D to discern the 3D. When you use it, integrated it in, because it came from integration. Two concepts of self integrated became one, and the delivered out of it became a discernment process came out of you. That now is through integration, it's through the matrimony of integration. Think about that. It's because the two became one, produced a discernment. I called it a child named discernment, which is created out of integration and not division, not just a love child. It was a matrimony child. This is higher level stuff when I'm talking about this. So don't get it mixed up. But notice it's even integrated that discernment on this level. Call this the 3D level. But also call this, now you're looking at somewhat of a cross, right? Now your discernment starts to work on the upper level as it goes up of this cross. Remember, the cross is really representative of the Southern Cross in the sky, right? Ecliptic degrees. So this of even seasons and dates with the Southern Cross, right? It's the crossing, it's also direction, it's also GPS, north, south, east, and west, the cross. It's all four areas. It's now giving you the width, length, depth. So what's happening is in the lower levels, your discernment works. In the higher levels, your discernment works. Remember, I give you the cross, the 3D, even in the lower realms in 3D, which there are some unharmonized stuff going on there, almost like some real friction, right? Some real inconnectedness, not connected. But now you go up to the 3D, even lower, because that which you have a tree, a big, huge tree. No, its roots run deep. We talk about having height, length, and depth and width, right? We're going deep. We're establishing deeper into these processes, even within consciousness. So what you have is you have the establishment. Now your discernment can discern this level of the cross, this level of the 3D reality that we live in, which has aspects of the lower levels, and have the fourth level, which we'll talk about in later videos, and even higher as you start unifying with your higher self, which is really your future self. Collapse time, and it's all happening at once. Then you're present. Because future and past become one with present. That's a whole different level. But notice the different levels of the cross as you're going up, climbing. Now your discernment's even working in the higher levels of integration, higher levels of oneness. Your discernment is a powerful stuff. Even when I say that your discernment is so strong that it will give you, it's like it is like a protection, is because it actually connects now with this. Actually, I call it even almost a GPS, right? It connects now on all levels of self. You start practicing your discerning, you're not just the 3D level or lower. You're actually discerning the upper levels of your experience in harmonizing them in the oneness of self as you go into the oneness states. And this is what I was talking about in the last video is the more you go up from the 3D and that, you have more free will. The wheel within the wheel is the will within the will. In the lower levels, 3D and below, you really have lack of it. That's why there's so much karma activity. That's why there's so much judgment, because it's just a revolving door of come and go. Ferris wheel of recycling. 3D, 4D are really recycling wheels of places to recycle back. Go back. You came up the Ferris wheel. Hey, welcome back. Oh, you went up, came around again? Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Like it's welcome back hotter. But know this, as you go up there, now you're discerning the higher levels, which is always going to go into unity consciousness, Christ consciousness. We talked about this last video. Unity consciousness, Christ consciousness, oneness are really the same words. Same thing, saying the same thing, just using different verbiage or vernacular, right? So it's actually protection. Even goes in your auric field. Your auric field's a protection. It's like there's an aspect of you being in an egg, right? Like a baby's in the egg and protected by the water in the fluid bag and everything outside of that baby's protected within the mother's womb. There's actually the auric field that we have, right? We have our toroidal field, our torus field, toroidal field is actually connected to our aura, becomes a field. Now add discernment, you add another layer of active discernment in all levels of self that say, don't go left, don't go right, don't go that way. Beware, don't participate. Your discernment's good. Your discernment will not lead you astray, but you have to practice it. And the more you practice and partake it, the more the integration gets stronger. And you're knowing that you have this. You're knowing that you're revelating. You're knowing to move and groove. I shared on a former video over a year ago how I went to this event. And at this event, and I will read this, it's going to tell you a little story here. At this event, right, I was there. It was a day, a lot of businesses were there showing their businesses. It was very much a community day. And I had went with my wife who has her business she does on the side. She has a beautiful side hustle she does with living benefits and stuff like that. Insurance, it's life insurance, but with living benefits. I'm not trying to be a salesman, but if something you want to look into, get a hold of me. send me a message. But I'm not trying to hear just to get on that. I went to an event they had, which all kinds of businesses were there, and people were sharing, mingling and sharing their businesses with each other. You make connections that way. That's how business folks work. That's not how working people work. Difference. So it create businesses, and business-minded people have creativity, but that's not the story. The story was one of the ladies that was there has two twins, a twin girl and twin boy. They were 6 years old. The girl took off. The mother and the other women that were connected were very scared because nobody knew where she was. So we were there, the group, she was missing. And they went in, they definitely got, it prompted the emotional realm to come to the higher place, especially Mama and the other women. So they said, we've seen her over here before, and they just kind of took off running. I'm kind of in this thing, I was walking, following them, but also I was inquiring to myself, to my higher self, is I know how my intuition works. My intuition, you lead me to her. So I walked and it says, they went the wrong way. Notice this is a lesson for you to learn. They did not inquire of self. You did. They went the wrong way. They're scattered, they're in another emotional realm, and they're just frantic. Make a turnaround and go back the other way, opposite of where they went. So I did. So as I'm going, I'm still asking, lead me more, I don't see her. Lead me more, I don't see her. Then I got to this dead end, and I go, I don't see her. Lead me more. It says, make a left. Take 10 more steps, make a left, and go that way. When I did that and obeyed that intuition, direction, GPS, inner self-knower, guess what happened? The girl, as I'm walking, here comes she. She runs right by me. I call her, take her to the family. She comes with me because she knows me. And brought her back to the family. What I'm saying is there's aspects that you have that we can turn on. This is an experience I had. It directed me because, these days, young girls, young kids are, with all the abductions and all the trafficking, fear comes upon people. It grips them. They went to their emotional fear realm. I actually openly, awareness allowed me to access myself in the higher consciousness, intuition. So instead of 3D, which really was still 3D, but I accessed the 3D aspect of it to find her in the 3D realm. But I was looking for a young little living soul that was 6 years old, right? And not only did I go the direction that I was directed, made the left, she came running by me as I made the left, and I just called her, and she knows who I was. Come, your mom's worried, yada, yada, yada. And then the place was all alarmed. The cops didn't find her. The other people knew that she was gone and missing, and they were all like, saying it over the loudspeaker because they had music and they had events and they had MC, and they said, oh, thank you, sir, he found her, yay, and all this. And to make a long story short, they almost put me into almost like a savior thing, because they tried to, but I'm not going to go there. I just was just somebody who used my tools within awakened self, was patient enough to access it, and this happened. This was an experience I had. And that's what I'm saying. We've avoided danger. And so when you read down here, things, avoiding dangers, 2 roads, or saves you and connects you. Use, save, and discipline. It will ask these aspects of discipline through these processes, like I said, discipline, aspects that we had a hard time doing on our own until we realized it's nothing outside of you, because we're trying to access things outside of us. The exoteric, it has nothing to do with exoteric. Your quality of where your origination begins it's within you, and everything reflects from you outside of you. That's you're projecting. That's what the outside is. So it becomes your GPS within, know self, know your terrain, right? Know where you're at. Travel, movement, ignoring will cause you grief. Ignoring your intuition, ignoring your discernment we're talking about, because I use discernment and intuition, which is also logic, because I even aspected higher reasoning. Where would I go if I was a kid? They took off where they thought they seen her last, and they went into very frantic emotional realms, which will make you, kind of, doesn't work. Actually, If you don't use your discernment, it can cause you grief, which would mean that's where the discipline earlier comes in. Because if you don't connect with it, you may need to get disciplined. And I'm talking discipline not by me, or discipline by your higher self will give you a tail whipping, because you may need it, because you didn't use it, or you disobeyed it. And the more you obey it and trust it, the more that it opens up to you in higher realms, and confidence that it will show when you need things to show. Discipline, discernment, intuition, and raising into a logic with higher reasoning, integrated with the intuition, not separate from, not opposing, the two opposites in collaborated. So as we go down here, I said protection of self raises frequency. The aura and you and self-protective, yes it is. So it causes more protection because you know direction, yay and nay. Not to, yes to. Not for me, go. I mean, not for me, no. That's not, I discerned what this is. Your discernment is the child, which also, that discernment is raising your frequency. The cross, 3D, going up as you go up the cross, right? You're going up higher and higher. Now your discernment's activated in the higher levels of unity and oneness of self. Now you can discern from higher levels, not just the 3D or lower levels, not just the physical, even what moved to make spiritually, what's activated in you spiritually, what came from you spiritually by the raising of frequency. Powerful. Oh yeah. So, man, the great marriage of the matrimony produced a child, and it's greater than rock and roll. How? It wasn't just the blues having a child and calling it rock and roll. It was actually your intuition and logic's marriage of oneness and collaboration producing a child called discernment. Powerful. The L and the I produced a D. Lid. Oof. Wow. Logic, intuition produced discernment. Lid goes with your higher chakra of your crown chakra. Hat, lid, right? I think, isn't there a place for buying a baseball and sporting caps they call lids? It's the cap, the lid. Yeah, that's heavy. Think about it. So this progression of this is all alchemy. This is an alchemy child, discernment. It's the inner alchemy, the higher parts of the esoteric alchemy, not just changing wood into a table, not just taking something and producing something outside of you. This is doing the alchemical experiments of what it produces when you see the science of it within, raising your frequency and vibration. Also, I'm realizing that every aspect that you get to a place of reality has a neutral. It has three. Has a neutral and has opposite poles. The neutral is the centerpiece. The opposite poles would be the aspect of it being the opposite. Always the opposite in the duality of that. And a third, I'm going to add, if you go in the middle, it's neutral. Where your power is. That's why us not, because if you go right or left, you're going to go in full judgment of what? The other side. The left looks at the right, the lower level looks at the higher level, judge. But when you come harmonized to one and realize your higher self and lower self are all connected, your inner child's connected. Your inner child, and I did this just recently, your inner child is your closest compadre. And you go, how? It's your closest friend that sticks closer than a brother. The friend that sticks closer to the brother is your inner child, because the same inner child you had in every, listen to this, get this, revelate with this, make this just simmer in your soul. Your inner child on every incarnation is the same. What it wants is validation that you see it, because it's been abandoned. It feels alone through every incarnation. When you now realize what it is, just like you talk to your friends or talk to your higher self, talk to that inner child. I do. I have conversations with inner child. You ain't alone and never will be again. I'm sorry that I even apologize to the inner child. I'm sorry that I didn't see you, but my eyesight was cloudy, but it has been clearing up because I've been calling for you, and it got clearer and clearer. And this is also the discernment causes a clarity. It takes away the mist. Notice mist, right, is mist. What happens when you have mist? It creates a vapor like a veil that you may even hide in, or something could hide in or go around. This would be even within us. We're driving and you have your rear view mirrors, right? And you have blind spots. We don't want blind spots in this process of going up, because we need to do this is about healing every aspect of ourselves. I realize we have to. When I say every aspect, I don't mean every cringe, every title, because you can't. But acknowledgement that it's there is part of the healing. Confession that it's there is part of the healing. You guys have a great day. Thank you. Appreciate you. All right. Share, like, and please share with other people. Like, share, comment. Comment on some of my stuff. Some people do. If you have any other songs that can be used for my songs that I do a esoteric, go in esoterically, because what we're doing is uncensored. You see the uncensored behind me. We're uncensoring the occultic and the hidden meanings. We're bringing them and saying, here it is. This is what's been hidden. This is what's been hidden. Here you go. Know it. Ruminate with it. But then when we have a bunch of people, that's scary, that's of the devil. That's the lower level thinking. Not knowing what they bought into is the hijack. They're still in a hijack, and we can't make them change. And that's one thing we ought to understand. Whatever people's journey is this time, you can't make people have something that you might think is best for them. And this is really, I had something I had to understand even more recently. I had mentioned it in many videos when I really understood that. I understood a while ago that when I'm trying to give initiated truths to the uninitiated, it doesn't work. And I also knew before that, on an energetic frequency level, I can't give people messages of high frequency when it doesn't match them. They're not going to get it. That would be that actually would be the parable about giving sharing your truth or sharing your gold. How's it go? With something, or the pigs or something of a lower level, they'll just trample it underfoot. I think it was talking about swine. And I'm not calling people swine. It's just the mindset. They can't receive it. They can't, what you're bringing out in a higher realm, they can't receive it. Their frequency doesn't match it. They can't receive it. And that goes for us in the higher realms. What our frequency can't match is not going to manifest as we go. So we got to upgrade our frequency as we go up to match the frequency so we can enter in. You guys have a great day. We'll get back to you with some more alchemy and some more about the other stuff we do here, like the music, the songs, the word of the day, the lyrical esoteric, and the word of the day. You guys have a great day. Thank you much. Thank you a lot. Love you.